Good evening, my Real News Midday TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update. And in the news this evening, PNP vows to continue registering displeasure with Chong as FID head. People's National Party President Mark Golding says that the party will continue to register its displeasure with the appointment of Dennis Chong to lead the Financial Investigations Division, but he did not say what form this would take. Last week, the PNP gave the governing Jamaica Labour Party a 3-day ultimatum to have the appointment rescinded, indicating that it was contemplating legal action. The opposition also led a protest on Monday. Speaking at a PNP town hall in St. James on Wednesday night, Mr. Golding was critical of those in the private sector who have not joined in questioning Mr. Chong's appointment.
Various non-government and non-political organizations have come forward and said this is untenable, this doesn't look right, it should not stand. And I'm very disappointed that there are some leaders in the private sector who seem to think there's nothing wrong with what has taken place. I suggest that they reconsider the matter and look at the facts, because it is absolutely clear and blatant that this appointment is totally inappropriate, untenable, and should not stand. So we have taken a resolute position against this. We had a very successful, peaceful demonstration on Monday morning at National Heroes Circle to register publicly our absolute disgust with what is happening, and we will continue the struggle in that regard. And when the head of the stream is not somebody who is, you can say, is in that position, then everything else that flows below will be similarly under a cloud and contaminated. And this is why we have said, as far as we're concerned, the Prime Minister should really not be putting himself forward to run in the next general election to continue as Prime Minister. The objective facts really ought to disqualify him from doing so. And the fact of the matter is, his party should have reflected on that matter and taken certain decisions, but they're obviously determined to tough it out and see what happens.
CNN COP calls for motorists to slow down 165 road deaths so far this year. With less than half of the year gone so far, more than 160 deaths have been recorded on the nation's roadways due to crashes. The statistics were provided by head of the Public Safety and the Traffic Enforcement Branch of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, Assistant Commissioner Gary Mackenzie, while he declared that the police will be doing their best to reduce the misbehaviors that lead to crashes on the roads. Speaking at the Jamaica Gasoline Retailers Association Road Safety Launch at Texaco Trafalgar in St. Andrew on Wednesday, Mackenzie said the number of Jamaicans who died due to road crashes stand at 165. This is in comparison to 179 persons over the corresponding period last year.
Today's launch of the Road Safety Month, spearheaded by the Jamaica Gas Retailers Association, marks a continuation of our efforts to improve road safety. Road safety means and includes our ability to travel from one place to another safely. Over the years, we have struggled to keep ourselves safe whilst using the roads, largely because of our inability to be responsible, conform to road rules, and be alert to the potential and real hazards that affect our movements. The result of this has been that we continue to have in excess of 8,000 crashes on our roadways yearly, and we lose an average of over 350 persons on our roads, and this has been so for the past 5 years. We note that the actions that cause most of these crashes and deaths are what I term voluntary actions. We are killing ourselves by driving at excessive speeds, overtaking improperly, failing to drive to the left, and unfortunately, some of our pedestrians are not using the roadway as how they ought to. One of the things that has been frequently asked is What are we doing as a police force to deal with the challenge out there on the roads? Well, over the past 5 years, we continue to make prosecutions. We have issued over 500,000 tickets yearly for offenses that have been found on the roadways, and these have not included arrests. We have also executed warrants where persons have ignored the charges that have been given and they have failed to attend court. In fact, in 2024, we executed some 13,527 warrants, and so far this year, Minister, we have executed some 11,544 warrants. Our intention is to ensure that we do our best to reduce the kind of misbehaviors that lead to crashes on our roads. And so it is of note that so far this year we have lost 165 persons who have died on our roads, and this of course is in comparison to 179 in 2024. This is by no means anything to applaud, because as I said before, over 70% of those crashes are voluntary. So what we have seen, in fact, I took a look at the crashes that we had over the past 2 weeks, and it is very sad to know that most of these crashes are as a result of carelessness, dangerous driving. Persons just drive at excessive speeds, not able to make corners, and so they crash into poles, into trees, into concrete, and they lose their lives. So as we go through the rest of 2025, my appeal is for us to slow down. Let us exercise the kind of maturity, the kind of responsible behavior that will see us maintaining our lives on the road. What we are seeing are situations that we can do without. Let us slow down, let us reduce the crashes, let us save our lives in 2025.
Family feud lands siblings in court. A group of siblings were referred to restorative justice when they appeared before the Kingston and the St. Andrew Parish Court on Tuesday to answer to individual charges stemming from a single fight. Senior Parish Judge Sanjay Burrell on Tuesday had stern words for Leon Brown, who was charged with assault as a common law after allegedly using a machete to threaten his younger sister. After a halting explanation from Brown and his younger sister, prosecutors indicated there were a lot of siblings, bad blood and favoritism in the family. Brown, who is in his late 40s, claimed that he had gotten a call from a middle sister who was not in court that an altercation was taking place with his younger sister, who is in her 20s, the complainant. He went to assist, and it is then that Brown is said to have threatened her with a weapon. As the siblings both struggled to get their side of the story out, Burrell admonished Brown, indicating that it was his job to protect his sisters, and by doing so, set an example of how other men should treat them. Conversely, she refused a request from the complainant for a restraining order against Brown, indicating that the problem would just persist without a real solution. In the midst of this, it was revealed that another of their brothers was also in the courtroom. Akeem Todd had been brought to court by a friend of the middle sister who had allegedly jumped into the same fight and was injured by him. The poor relationship between the first two siblings seemed to extend to Todd as well. He too indicated he was not close to his younger sister and had only injured the middle sister's friend because she pushed him and he reacted out of instinct. "Wanna just live bad," Burrell said to the group. The siblings were sent to restorative justice and will return to court on September 29, 2025 to discuss whether intervention has been successful. Thank you everyone for watching. See you tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. for another news update.